Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to War on the Sea. War on the Sea is a game that takes place in World War II, as you might already be able to tell from the visuals in the menu. It is by Killerfish Games, and Killerfish is a title or a studio you might remember from Cold Waters, the submarine game. I played that as well, and this one looks to be a promising title too. Now, the game was provided to me by the devs, so they gave me the key for showing it to you guys, because I think it's going to blend right into the channel. Very, very quick about the game. It takes place in World War II, and you can control everything from submarines to aircraft carriers, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, whatever, to planes. So it got multi-layer support, if you will. Every layer of the battlefield is going to be covered. You have ships which can target various different targets at once. Destroyers carry torpedoes. You have troop transports for taking over territories. There is a lot going on in this game. What I have done so far are the training missions. And I gotta say, this is a very nice in-depth tutorial. It seems to cover most of the bases. And with that, I feel confident to jump into the campaign. Now, there probably will be mistakes. There will be things that might not go as I had hoped they would. So it's going to be a learning experience. And on top of that, there might be some bugs. I have seen on Steam, and I'm curious to see how this is going to go. I've seen mixed reviews. Some people really like it. Some people go, Jesus, the UI is crap and the AI is dumb as a brick. I haven't tested it that extensively yet, so we'll just see. Now we have two different campaigns. Operation Watchtower, control the Allies to expel all enemy troops from the southern Solomon Islands. Build an airfield in Guadalcanal and prevent any further Japanese expansion to the south. Or the Battle of Guadalcanal. As the Imperial Japan, complete construction of an airfield on Guadalcanal and ensure the Allies gain no foothold in the southern Solomon Islands. I'm going to go for Operation Watchtower. Prelude, attack on Pearl Harbor. Since 1937, Japan and China have been engaged in the protracted conflict of the Second Sino-Japanese War. America, along with other Western nations, including Britain and Australia, embargoed the sale of oil, steel and iron ore to Japan in an attempt to stem further expansionism. Japan plans to occupy the Dutch East Indies and Malaya, as an alternate source of natural resources, and on December 7th, 1941, launches a multi-pronged offensive throughout the Pacific. The goal is to quickly secure Japanese interests, set up a defensive perimeter, and then negotiate peace with America from this position of strength. As part of numerous offensives launched, aircraft from 6 Japanese fleet carriers attack Pearl Harbor and cripple U.S. Pacific Fleet. The surprise attack finally draws America into World War II. 4 to 8 May 1942. In order to expand the southern perimeter of the Empire of Japan, they undertake Operation Mo, the invasion of Port Moresby in New Guinea, as well as Tulagi in the Solomon Islands. The ensuing naval battle, the first carried out by aircraft carrier only, by carrier aircraft only, ultimately turns back the Port Moresby invasion. A light carrier, a destroyer, and several smaller vessels are lost by the Japanese. Allied forces suffer significant losses with the sinking of the fleet carrier Lexington, a destroyer, and an oiler. Yorktown, the other US fleet carrier participating, is damaged and hastily returns to Hawaii for repairs. June 1942. Japan turns its attention to the US base at Midway in a plan to lure the Americans into a decisive naval battle. The massive strike force containing 4 fleet carriers along with numerous battleships and cruisers, enough to overpower any opposition. Yet, Allied codebreakers have discerned the plan, sending 3 fleet carriers to lie in wait for the approaching enemy. In a stunning victory for the Allies, all 4 Japanese fleet carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu and Hiryu, are sunk, along with the heavy cruiser Mikuma, for the loss of the fleet carrier Yorktown and the destroyer Haman. We're not done yet. August 1942. The Battle of Midway last month has significantly weakened Japan's carrier strength in the Pacific and allowed the Allies to go on the offensive. One initial goal to secure the southern Solomon Islands in a plan codenamed Operation Watchtower. Priority for the operation intensifies as Japanese troops begin construction of an airfield on the island of Guadalcanal. Such an airfield would allow long-range bombers to attack the supply lines between America and Australia, as well as provide air cover for Japanese naval forces pushing further south. Japanese supply ships are carrying construction materials for the airfield continue to arrive, while the Allies make preparations to seize Guadalcanal. Operation Watchtower, August 7th, 1942. Intelligence reports indicate enemy troops have landed on Guadalcanal and have begun construction of an airfield. Once finished, long-range bombers will be free to attack Allied supply lines between America and Australia and provide air cover for the Imperial Japanese Navy to operate farther south. Using the New Hebrides as a forward operating base, your orders are to take Guadalcanal, build a major airfield there, and clear the neighboring islands of any hostile forces. You must build a rank 5 airfield on Guadalcanal. What rank 5 is, I'll explain in a minute. Take control of Guadalcanal and Florida Islands, and maintain control of Port Moresby, Milne Bay, Rennell Island, Santa Cruz Islands, and Maliata. Locations. We have the red star for the Japanese. I think these might be neutral? Maybe? And the blue ones are mine. With the biggest star, the New Hebrides, or Hebrides, I'm not even sure how you pronounce that in English. The big star is my main base. We have a level 4 port on Port Moresby. Rabaul is a very strong Japanese position. And I can't quite tell you what their main base is. Sea power, we have nothing yet, because I get to dictate what sort of fleet I want to send into the area. Repairs, nothing, because I'm not repairing anything yet. No losses, and no enemy losses. Alright. Now, let me show you what we have on the screen. Bottom left-hand side. What day is it? 7th August 1942. What's the speed? 0 times. Over here you can see whether it's dark or not, so daylight or not. Time slower, pausing, time forward or fast forward. And I have command points here, 250. With these command points, at bases such as the New Hebrides, I can buy US air and naval power. I can buy new sea units, and this is where we can see a bit of the depth of the game. We have over here a list of all the units that are in the game. You might recognize names. Sims, Fletcher, Atlanta class, Cleveland class, Pensacola, New Orleans, North Carolina battleship, Yorktown aircraft carrier, Perth. We also, interestingly, have Japanese units mixed in, which, of course, I can't buy. I cannot buy a Minakaze class destroyer. That makes sense. We also have submarines here, the Tambor class, and I can... Oh, look at that, even Yamato, 1942. How expensive is this? How many points is that? Hard to tell. Number and class, 2. Now, let me show you just how deep this game is, because this is just the stats page of the ship itself. Dimensions, displacement, speed, etc. But over here we have weapon systems. Main guns, 40 cm, 45 Type 94, caliber 18.1 inch, range 45,965 yards, not dual purpose, reloads in 40 seconds, and they also carry secondary guns. They have anti-aircraft, mostly spanning the midships, so the bow is unprotected and so is the stern. Sensors and armor. Visual horizon is 11 nautical miles, visual detection is 100%, radar detection is 100%. I'm not exactly sure what that all means. Noise level 190 decibels, so I think a sonar from a submarine, a passive sonar, could very easily detect it. Yep, at 36 nautical miles you can already hear Yamato. And we can see what sort of an armor scheme she has. And this can be done for every single ship that is currently in the game. Now, it is up to me how and what I deploy. Not so much where, because I will have to deploy it from a port or an airfield. When it comes to airfields, by the way, we have new air. And this is where I can deploy not so much an aircraft squadron, but I can deploy a set of aircraft on the map. So I can say, you know what, I want to have a flight of B-17Fs, I want these guys to have 4 1,000 kilogram bombs, and I want that to be a flight of 2 bombers. Done. What then happens is that the game spawns, let me just not move that far, spawns in this flight, and this flight of aircraft, provided I can click on them because they happen to be right on top of the other group. This flight can then be directed, yep, there they are, to wherever I need them to go. They have a range of 580 nautical miles. It's just 2 bombers, and with these I can set a course. I can say this is 100 nautical miles. You're going to fly 150, and you're going to fly a box pattern and then RTB, or just RTB directly. So by doing this, I can launch aircraft, and from the base there, I can launch ships. We also have the base here, Milne Bay. This thing has a level 1 port and a level 1 airfield, because it says these things 1. If I want to upgrade these, I'm going to need 2,000 supplies, 200 points of engineering, and 200 points of fuel. And if I can then click on it, and currently it says insufficient resources to upgrade, then you can upgrade the base. In this case, I already have level 5s, so they cannot be further upgraded. This is just the max. Now, one of the objectives that I have, build a rank 5 airfield on Guadalcanal. So I'm first going to have to capture this place and then ship enough supplies to it to make sure that I actually have the capacity to upgrade it to level 5. If I want to do that, I can say, you know what, I want to have a new group, and I'm going to need, and this is something where I think they could do a little better, because I know that a Type C3 is a cargo ship, but they could have told me that, or they could have filtered between, let's say, cargo ships, destroyers, cruisers and such, because now I have to either know what I want, or I just have to go through the list and hope that I find what I'm looking for. Anyway, if I want to have a couple of merchantmen, I can add these. So I can say 1, 2, 3. And then with these ships, I can deploy them for a cost of 30 points. Then I can load them up with any of the things that I need. I'm not going to do that just now, because I first want to deploy an actual fleet, and then see if I can engage, well, any of these positions. Ideally, I would capture Renal Island early, because it is a far better position than all the way here in the New Hebrides, and it is also an objective. So the plan is, deploy a fleet, deploy a couple of transports potentially with that fleet, and see if I can find the enemy, and potentially early on capture Renal Island. So, new sea power. We're going to go with an aircraft carrier. And that's going to be, I believe it's the Yorktown class. Where are you? Here, Yorktown class. Now, there are 3 ships in the class. The Yorktown is says U is unavailable, but we do still have Enterprise and Hornet. So I'm going to add the Enterprise to the group. And I want a few escorts for that. I want to have, let's see, the Enterprise can do what, 22 knots? Very fast, 22 plus knots. How fast are you, Enterprise? Because I want to see if I can have a ship that can do about the same. 32 knots is the maximum speed of the Yorktown class carrier. So if I bring a destroyer alongside, like the Farragut, which has torpedoes, depth charges, and 5-inch main guns, I can have... what? Oh, right, the Farragut's already under my command. But I can also deploy the Dewey. And I want a cruiser there. Let's see, I could add a Cleveland-class cruiser. Speed 32.5 knots, crew 1,285. There were 39 Clevelands, or Cleveland-class ships. So you can see that I have a hell of a list, and I can pick any of these ships that I like. And of course, being Dutch, I'm going to go for the Amsterdam. Cost 122. I also want to have a battleship here. Wichita is a heavy cruiser, right? Yes, Wichita class heavy cruiser. North Carolina is a battleship class, costs 80 points. Oh, that's where you can see that. Okay, what does Yamato cost? Nothing, because I can't deploy it. It's not one of my ships. Whereas if I play the Japanese campaign, I can deploy that. We only have 2 ships in the class. These things can do a maximum of 28 knots, so they'll be a bit slower. Weapon systems. 16-inch guns, ranging to 36,855 yards, not dual purpose. Secondary guns are dual purpose, which means that they can also engage aerial targets. Anti-aircraft batteries, very potent. Sensors and weapon systems, sensors and armor. It is fairly noisy. It has no passive sonar. Oh, sorry, passive sonar is the detection range of the sonar on the ship, not the detection range that you have. So not the detection range at which you can be detected. I misinformed you about that. Armor around the ship looks decent. We're going to deploy the North Carolina as well. I want the Enterprise and the North Carolina to swap, so the North Carolina is going to be lead ship. Then we're going to have the Farraguts, the Farragut, the Dewey, the Amsterdam, and the Enterprise. That is 202 out of my 250 command points, so done. And now I can tell these guys to set a course. We're going to set a course over here. Now, next part is going to be deploying a new ship, and that's going to be, let's say, a couple of the C3 classes. So add... Oh, right. New C. Yes, add. These are only 20 points, but I don't have that much left. Oh, sorry, 10 points each. Done. I can load these things up with cargo, and I'm going to load them up with some troops. So one's going to have troops, and one's going to have supplies. That's it. Set a course. Not directly for my objective, but mostly in that general direction. Over here, I have a base that's Milne Bay, and we have Port Moresby over here. Port Moresby has a level 4 port, but cannot launch ships. So that only can be done from the Hebrides over here. And then we have a level 3 airfield. I can deploy Wildcats and Avengers. I can have torpedoes on the Avengers, or AP bombs, HE bombs, rockets, or depth charges. And the Wildcats cannot have any kind of secondary armament, if you will. They're just fighters. Now I'm going to launch a flight of 4 Wildcats, so that I can do a bit of scouting around the base here. You guys. Wildcats. Go on. Give me control of one of the other units, please. Next. That's my naval group. And here are the Wildcats. Good. They have a range of 337 nautical miles, so I cannot really afford to fly them out too far. I'm just going to have them do a course like that. That's enough. Milne Bay, new air. We're going to have just 2 Wildcats over there. Done. Course. There and there. And that's really all the assets that I have right now, so it's time to start moving forward. I can see how long it's going to take my fleets over here to actually arrive at the next position. Port Moresby, ready to launch aircraft. Okay. Over here, the aircraft have already completed their patrol. Enemy aircraft near Task Force 1. Oh, we have contacts. Okay. The game is automatically paused. It's time for the Enterprise to start launching aircraft. So, Enterprise, launch aircraft. We're going to send up a flight of 6 Wildcats until I know what I'm dealing with. So, you guys... no, not course, just flat out engage. Head towards that group. They were spotted at 12 nautical miles, so they're really close. Encounter must be resolved. Oh, we have an encounter. Duh, my bad. Okay, here comes the combat. Begin. Formation setup. We have the North Carolina in the lead, Farragut, Dewey, Amsterdam, and Enterprise. Where exactly the enemy group is, I don't know. Somewhere here to my west. That's about as good as I can tell you. Search for and engage any enemy forces in the area. Report. I don't know what I have sunk yet, but the fact that there is an action report is fantastic. It's something that Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts could seriously use. Now, when it comes to combat and actual control over your ships, you can take manual control over your ships, or you can let it over to the AI. In my case, I'm going to have the Enterprise and No, actually, the North Carolina, the Farragut, and the Amsterdam together. So I can have these guys form up. And I can have the Enterprise and Dewey form up. Line abreast, form up. And this way I'm going to have one destroyer guard the Enterprise, and the cruiser, the Farragut, and the North Carolina are going to head out. The Enterprise currently cannot launch any aircraft, but she already has the Wildcat flight up here. I'm going to make this one large... Actually, no, I'm going to make it 2 flights. So you guys form up. Wildcat 1, 2, and 3 forming up on Wildcat 1. Wildcat 5, 4, and 6 forming up. Wildcat 4, 5, and 6 forming up on Wildcat 5. Alright, so I now have 2 flights of 3 aircraft. Begin. Here we have the aircraft. So welcome to the actual game. This is what it looks like. Lots and lots of buttons and lots of stuff to see. Left hand side, what units do you have? And over here the button says switch sea and air, and I can switch to the Enterprise group and the North Carolina group. I can also say I want to select all of them or I want to deselect all of them. And the unit with the star means it's a formation leader. So for the Wildcats, it's for Wildcats 4, 5, and 6, and Wildcats 1, 2, and 3. For the naval units, it's the North Carolina, Farragut, and Amsterdam, and the Enterprise and the Dewey. Then we have a couple of different buttons. The recognition menu, so I can see more or less what I'm fighting. I have orders, so I can tell them to go on an attack. I can cease an attack. I can engage radar or sonar if I have it. Not all units do. I can set what altitude, what speed, what rudder, steering left or right. Over here I can fire machine guns if I want to. Probably not ideal right now as I have a friendly aircraft in front. Bottom right hand side has the map, although if you press tab you're going to go to the map at large. And we have a lot of buttons here. Binoculars. So I can now see my friendly aircraft here. I have switched to underwater mode. There's not much to be seen here right now, but of course if you have a submarine you could. Chase camera allows you to either chase or follow your target. Look at target. Freeze camera, target mode, select mode, so selecting more units, waypoint mode, lock the map, mini-map, and open the map. Whew. Okay, when it comes to ships, give me control of the North Carolina. Here she is, the beautiful North Carolina class battleship. I can tell her to have a formation. I can tell them to break formation. I can tell them to form up, follow enemy ships, or sorry, follow friendly ships. I can attack, ceasefire, attack, auto-engage flak, use radar and or sonar. This ship only has radar. I can have my main guns, and this is where the game gets really fascinating, because I can set manual targets. I can have the A turret engaged to the port side, I can have the B turret engaged to the starboard side, and I can have the X turret engaged to something else entirely. So if I only engage the A turret, manual fire, I can tell it to target here. I can tell that one to target there. It doesn't really matter so long as these things just show you what they can do. Secondary turret or Bravo turret. Not exactly sure what that main battery is doing. Alright, ceasefire on all turrets. And what I can also do is have my main and secondary fire director, so the things up here and up here, designate targets. And we're going to have to be building a targeting solution before we're able to fire accurately. I can use AP, high explosive, or star shell. In case you're firing in the dark, you can fire a star shell, which will illuminate the area. I can fire a narrow spread, a loose spread, or just a full spread. And I can also use spotting, which means the enemy will only fire, the friendly ship will only fire once it's seen where the previous shells landed, so you can build a better targeting solution. New aircraft bearing 075. probably one of the Wildcat squads. That is not friendly. Right there. That thing? Japanese scout plane. And it is approaching my fleet. So it's time for the Enterprise to launch some more aircraft. Now, a fascinating question. How the fuck do I do that? Yorktown... Yeah, no. That's the recognition guide. Orders. See, I still have some stuff to learn about this game. Because I'm not sure if I can launch aircraft during conflicts, but I suppose I should be able to, right? Enterprise, speed 19 knots, heading 333, no target selected. Secondary guns. It's just a couple of, what, 5-inch guns on this ship? Recognition mode. Enterprise, Yorktown class aircraft carrier, secondary 5-inch guns, yeah. Right, how the hell do I launch aircraft? That's switching to air. I know how to do it from an airport, but how to do it from an aircraft carrier? Damage control, secondary guns. Because if I cannot launch aircraft right now, I'm probably pretty screwed with this aircraft carrier. Let's just see what happens. Immediate control of the North Carolina. Her flag's already going off. You can see the aircraft flying over. I'm not sure if I want to send in my Wildcats, because there is a better than average chance that I'm going to be shooting it with my own flag, which is far from ideal, shall we say. What I could do, however, is have my Wildcat squadrons just scout out. Just see if we can find something. Because I still need to see where the enemy is. So you're going to fly a box like that. And then squad 5, you're going to fly a patrol like that. We're going to see if we can find the enemy. Now give me control of the North Carolina again. Smaller secondary guns are going off. Or smaller anti-air guns are going off. That looks great. Looks like the Amsterdam's also engaging. Look at that. I like that. It looks like the aircraft has been hit, but I'm not sure how badly. I know that if it's trailing smoke, it's not doing great. But how badly it's been hit, I can't quite tell you. Alright, so we know that the enemy aircraft is somewhere over here. Time compression not available, really. We first have to sink the enemy aircraft, yeah, sure. Too much ultimate admiral. I want you guys to target this guy and attack. We're going to switch over to the Wildcats. Tab. And they should start engaging the target. I can just give them an order now, right? Orders, attack. Attacking 1. Yeah, but you're not doing it. So I can tell it to slow down or speed up. I can tell it to go lower or higher. But stuff like attacking. This, I think, is where people have been... Oh, we can't see them anymore. That might have something to do with it. Contact lost, bearing 030. So yeah, it is somewhere over there. Let's see if we can find it again. Hold on, I might have to take control of a ship, and then I can order my aircraft around. Tab. Flight 5. Nav. No, that's the wrong ship. No. Nav this way. No! Damn it. Oh, I still have a lot to learn about this game. How does one remove a waypoint? Because the game tells you how to set waypoints. I'm just not... I'm sorry. I'm just not sure if the game is going to explain how to... Yeah, there we go. North Cal no longer following waypoints. Perfect. North Cal, please head that way. Wildcat Squadron. Are you guys actually... Nope. Following waypoints. Yeah, the hell you are. Cease your attack. Nav your ass that way. Alright? No? Cool. I guess the AI... sorry, the UI could use a bit of work. But so can the player, of course. Where the fuck are these Wildcats going? This is not quite where I had expected them to go. Following waypoints. Yeah, but you're not. Break. Waypoint. Here. See if you can do it now. No, not really. I don't know when these things are going to drop out of the sky because they don't have any fuel left, but we'll see, I guess. The other Wildcats are still flying around. Break. Get your asses over there. So that's Wildcats 4, 5, and 6. Get your butt over there. This really is amateur hour, isn't it? Because I'm not taking manual control. Wildcat has left the engagement area. Bye. Okay, I guess they're no longer part of this fight. Can I at least tell you guys to do something useful? Yeah, thank you. Except you're going solo. Gentlemen. Thank you. Now, unfortunately, I have been detected by the enemy. I don't know where the enemy is. Supposedly, they're somewhere inside this engagement range. So we'll just have to find them, I guess. At least the Enterprise and Dewey are sailing in the formation that I wanted them to, which is more or less line ahead. I think the Dewey is still trying to pull alongside or something. What are you doing? What are you, Dewey? Oh, no, I set these guys up to line abreast, so you're doing exactly what I ordered you. Never mind. I want you guys to form up in... No, it's fine. Now, I wonder if it is just one aircraft, or if there's more out here. Because there could be surface ships, but I suppose that the Wildcats would have spotted them by now. So can I just disengage? Retreat. No, search for and engage any enemy forces in the area. I want the Wildcats to slow down a bit, so the other ones can catch up. Time compression times 5 is the fastest I can go. Switch back to the North Carolina, because I want to not have the North Cal go away from the group too far. Not from the aircraft carrier, it's too valuable. And it's the Enterprise, so it's a matter of honor. Big E. Set a course there. Following waypoints. Perfect. Don't know where that aircraft went. That spotting aircraft. Nor if that's the last target. There could very well be more out here. You know what? North Carolina, activate your radar. Let's see if we can find something. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be an animation for that. Because I activated my radar, and I would expect the radar dish to start rotating, but I'm not seeing it. Unit is no longer using radar. No, I want you to use radar. Now, despite looking for the enemy for quite a while off-screen, I still haven't found them. I'm thinking that scout plane made it out, so I'm just going to retreat and see what happens. Yes, we're going to leave. Confirm. Total sunk, none. Enemy aircraft spotted was 1. None was attacked. Well, hit maybe, but not severely damaged enough to kill it. So we're going to continue. That means that there's still an enemy group out here somewhere. The real question is where. But I'm going to look into that in the next part of this series, which will be up soon. I hope you guys enjoy what you're seeing. I think the game has potential, but I still need to get better at it. And maybe the UI could do a bit more of a better job trying to assist me in how to launch aircraft from an aircraft carrier in a battle, for example. Anyway, linked the game down below in the description if you want to play it for yourself. Let me know what your thoughts are down below, and subscribe if you want to be sure to see the next episode as well, which should be up very soon. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for the next part.